All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. Let me just mute the YouTube stream as it comes up. Perfect. All right. Man, what a crazy day. And we need to decide whether this is or is not the eventual capitulation. So let's go to screen share. Before we do the charts, however, this is insane. Binance just tweeted out that they don't know how Bitcoin transactions work. This is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I can't. Look, you guys know I've always hated Binance. It's been one of the exchanges I hated the most. A batch of Bitcoin transactions got stuck due to low transaction fees, resulting in a backlog of the Bitcoin network withdrawals. What are we, 2017? This is insane. There's no backlog of Bitcoin transactions. The mempool is relatively empty. There was a 34-block backlog. This is, like, it's insane. The statement by Joe Biden the other day that the economy is the greatest it's been since the Great Depression is less bullshit than this, right? It's this is the mempool right there. This is your backlog right there. Let's go. That's a couple of years, right? Let's go to 1 week. What the hell are they talking about? This is not a backlog, okay? This is a 1 week look. Here's a 1 month look. Oh, look, that's a backlog. No, wait, that's not even a backlog, because if you go back 3 months, well, maybe 6 months, or maybe a year. And this was just a few weeks ago, right? So the backlog they're talking about is this, all right? It's wow, just wow. That's a backlog, okay? What is this? And this is 2021. That's not even 2017. Okay, if you go to 2017, this thing is going to be like this little thing right there. Okay, there's no backlog of transactions. Okay, this is complete and utter bullshit. Like, this is like, who is dumb enough to fall for this nonsense? It's wow. This is, then one of two things is happening here. Either Binance actually doesn't know how Bitcoin works, which is very possible. It is very, very possible. If they understood how Bitcoin works, they would not have a scam token called BNB. Guys, if you have any kind of Bitcoin on Binance, if you can get it out, if it's possible, you may want to get it out, because this statement here is more insane than what, 3 years ago when CZ said that maybe we can talk to the miners and we can, reverse the hack that happened. This is this is even stupider, because he thinks that you are dumber, right? So in the other statement, when CZ said maybe we can double spend Bitcoin and reverse all transactions, he showed what an idiot he is. In this statement, he's telling you what an idiot you are, because there was a bunch of low fee transactions, and that's why they can't send you your money with a slightly higher fee transaction. This is insane. I've always seen Binance as a very shady company, though not as shady as another tweet I want to share, and then we're going to go on to the price action. This is a significantly more shady company than even Binance, and that is Celsius. I don't know if this is true. Someone sent me this tweet this morning. If the price of Bitcoin actually goes to 22.5, that could potentially be the implosion of the Celsius network. Now, I have always said that Celsius is one of the most shadiest company pretending to be legitimate. They actually had some kind of SEC approval, which is insane. It shows you that the SEC knows less about Bitcoin than even Binance does at this point. I'm in a little bit of a ethical dilemma here. On the one hand, I would love to see the total implosion of Celsius. On the other hand, I don't want to see Bitcoin fall to $22,500. I don't want to see Bitcoin fall at all. And also alongside with me not wanting to see Celsius fall Celsius fall. No, I do want to see Celsius fall, but I don't want people to get hurt. I only want the Celsius people to get hurt from Celsius financially or whatever, maybe even criminally. Okay. But I don't want actual people that got fooled by Celsius to get hurt. So it's a little bit of a dilemma. Like I said, on the one hand, if this is true, and I kind of hope it is true, and if the price of Bitcoin falls below 22,500, which I have no control of, I would love to see the entire Celsius network go down in a fiery flame. Thank you, Corey of Swan, for continuously doing incredible work and miraculously not get sued yet by exposing the giant Celsius scam. But on the other hand, I don't want to see people lose their life savings. I have a friend that lost his life savings in Luna, which is very unfortunate. And yeah, and I don't want to see the price of Bitcoin fall. Because as the price of Bitcoin falls, it becomes harder for me to convince people to come to the financial summit and how amazing of an event it is when the cost of the event is about to be half a Bitcoin. So I have all these incentives to force Bitcoin to go up. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do so. The markets will do what they do. And all we can say is what we see in the charts. This is not, doesn't look like this is over, at least not this hour. It looks like this does have to find the bottom somewhere. And as tweets like this, I can't believe I can't believe I'm reading this. I can't believe I'm reading this. It might be the dumbest sentence I've ever read since the BCAS, since like 2017, when people were this stupid because they fell for the Bcash stuff. I can't think of anything dumber. Well, like, yeah, you get like dumb statements from people that don't know crypto at all. Like Peter Schiff had said some incredible stuff. But this is supposed to be from a guy that's been a CTO of a Bitcoin exchange going back to 2012. That was OKCoin. That's CZ. CZ was the CTO in 2012, 2013 of OKCoin before he started his own exchange. Like what? What are we reading here? They're suspending Bitcoin transactions because a bunch of people sent in a low fee transaction? What? No. Moon Carl is smart enough to keep his money in Bitcoin. At least like 80% of it. Terrible companies deserve to fall so that good companies can rise. And if terrible companies, scam people, the people in those companies deserve to be accountable for it, either civilly, where they lose all of the money that they profited from people, or criminally, though that potentially could involve jail time. I don't know. Okay, let's talk price. Weekly chart. We are almost at a historic level of support. That is the good news. I couldn't give you any good news on my last stream. I can give you lots of good news today. The good news today is that we're almost at very critical support, right? Like this 200-day moving average historically has been great for Bitcoin's reversals. Okay, every time we have hit this 200-week moving average. We have bounced above it. We've never closed for more than one weekly candle below this moving average. This could be the candle. Probably going to more likely to be next week's candle, but it could be this candle closing below this moving average. And then hopefully the capitulation is finally here. Monthly chart, let's go back up. Same thing. This is the monthly moving average, same exact deal. Every time we've come close to this moving average on a historical basis, Bitcoin has rallied right off of that, and we're sitting right at this average. Can we go lower? We can, but the odds are with us that the final capitulation is almost here. Yeah, we'll get to crude. This is our 4-day allocation chart. If you remember my stream on Friday, right after we broke this area, I mentioned how this is where a short trade is very, very possible. See, I expected this drop on this candle here. That's why there was a 10% bearish allocation. When that didn't materialize, and unfortunately we went a little too high for my risk tolerance, and I moved it to all cash. On my stream Saturday, maybe was it Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, I posed a poll in this live chat that said, hey, should we add a 25% bearish position or remove it? And I let the chat decide. And the chat decided with 57% to remove the 25% bearish allocation, which once again shows that the majority of the people will usually be wrong. Because clearly in hindsight, the proper move was to add a 25. Well, the proper move would have been to leverage 100x on a short position, but we're going to be responsible adults here. So just a 25% non-leveraged allocation was the right move. But I am going to delete this. I really wanted to go to on a stream yesterday, but I did this 3-hour spaces instead, where I would have probably said, that was a mistake. Let's get that short position back on, but that's okay. We now get to actually time a better bottoming opportunity. Your losses from here on out are going to be limited unless you go high leverage. There is still a probability of going 50% lower from here. It is absolutely possible. I am getting a lot of comments, guy. I can't lie. Like, a lot of people are watching this stream. I'm back to like 900 views. See, when I've been warning people that this thing is going to happen, no one's watching. Now that it's happened, everyone's watching. Guys, I can't help you now. The time to get out of Bitcoin and take it on short positions is not now. It was before. Now is the time to try to establish where the bottom is. And this 4-day candle is not capitulating yet. Like, it's not showing me any signs of a bullish momentum. We have to find some kind of a bullish momentum. Look, the volume for today is not even at levels of volumes back here back in May, 1 month ago. This is a nasty candle, but it is showing no signs of a reversal. This candle here has signs of a reversal. We have to wait. According to the MRI, we can still have 4 to 5 more days of downside here. Can we go all the way to 17,000, 18,000? Yes. In fact, if we do go all the way to 19,000, we will pull back perfectly to the prior swing high. After that, if we go lower, the next level could be all the way down at 14,000. I personally do not think we're going to get that low. I personally think 19,000 is as low as we'll get. I've always said that, hey, at 21, 22,000, start selling kidneys and get into Bitcoin, but not yet. Not yet, because there's no sign of a reversal yet. Not yet. I would not try to catch this falling knife right now. I would wait for a sign of strength. I would wait for a sign of strength. Once again, I don't know how true this rumor is. I don't know. But if this is a number, if this is true, and that's a big if, huge if, okay? DAI also needs to implode. These are very, very scammy instruments, guys. I have said this many, many times. I mean, only idiots would wrap their Bitcoin and create DAI. These are all very scammy projects. And the sooner they implode, the sooner Bitcoin can start its bull market once again. So if this is true, and that's a big if, yep, I do want to see Bitcoin at 22.5. It's only what, another $300 lower, but it could potentially mean the end of many scammy projects, opening up a nice bullish situation for Bitcoin. Well, yeah, we're talking about Celsius, Harvey, right now. Yeah. I've always been critical of Celsius. I've always been critical of Mashinsky. I've said this going back years, back when we used to do the news shows. It's insane. As you can see, I don't really know why the January 6th hearings are back. Didn't they do the January 6th hearings like a year ago? And like the US government has 1,000 problems that are bigger than this. And I love how people comment in the audience, Tone, why aren't you talking about this? Well, since I was there filming it, I kind of know what happened. And this is what Twitter is telling me to pay attention to. Good job, Twitter. All right. We are almost at 1,000 live viewers. We're going to go back to the charts. We're going to talk all markets. Perfect time for me to plug the Financial Summit. This is where you meet some traders, funds, those that, since this is an expensive event, the people you meet there did not go broke during this downturn. So these are the people you want to spend time with so you can catch their Okay, I'm back. What I was saying was this stream just went down. So my internet might have got interrupted. So I'm going to go back to screen share right here. Hey, CZ and Binance, my stream being interrupted right now, the low transactions in the mempool have a bigger effect on this stream than on your ability to withdraw funds. Okay, you sending a Bitcoin transaction has nothing to do with some other people sending low-fee Bitcoin transactions. They are straight up lying to you because they think you are an idiot. Okay, this is insane. Okay, yeah, this that video getting stuck for a second while my internet went down, that has as much to do with your inability to send people their funds because of low transaction fee, because transactions with low fees in the mempool. This is insane. And no one has this shit, okay? Well, they're trading on Binance, so they probably have this shit, but people want their Bitcoin back. And you're supposed to be an exchange that is a custodial of people's Bitcoins. That's why you guys should take your keys off of this nonsense. All right, guys. Oh yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, including Twitter. Would love to get to 1,000 followers. Okay, back to charts. Daily chart. Daily chart is my capitulation chart. By the way, I have an article on capitulation. It's not my article. It's from a friend of mine whose name is George Salmon. I wrote an article in Cointelegraph like the day before, talking about how the bear market's not over. Then George wrote an article He was the other trader writing for Cointelegraph. This is 2015. He wrote an article explaining what capitulation is. You can kind of Google for it. You can see the name. When will the price of Bitcoin bottom out? You can also Google his name, George Salmon. Google the word capitulation. And he explained what capitulation was and that Bitcoin was about to get capitulated. To my hotspot. I don't know what's going on. My clearly the low fee transactions in the mempool are messing up with my stream. That statement is about as accurate as Binance's statement. I'm so dumbfounded by this. This is insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, now we should be good. Off my hotspot. I don't know. I've good internet, so I have no idea what's going on. Okay, now we're back. All right, 23.3. We are watching the move to 20 below 22 and a half, and we're gonna see what happens. Guys, we've seen this movie before. Okay, that's a bug. This is all one candle. That's a trading view bug. Right here, companies imploded because they were over leveraged and got liquidated. We are potentially about to see the same thing. Imagine if it's Binance. Imagine if Binance is the one that implodes. It's very possible. I mean, Binance doesn't have any ethical standards. If Binance had ethical standards, they wouldn't have a scam coin called BNB. This is why I trust companies like Kraken a lot more than companies like Binance, because Kraken doesn't have a scam coin. Someone has a question. Tone, if this is capitulation, will the price recover before next Monday? I don't know. A lot with the price will have to do with the S&P 500. As you can see, the S&P 500 is also kind of crashing. I think the S&P 500 will find a bottom. I can't tell you why that would happen. My best guess is that Joe Biden could potentially resign. Joe Biden could step down. They can announce Joe Biden has health issues. And the stepping down of Joe Biden would reverse the stock market, even with Kamala Harris taking over. But now we're getting into a political sphere. Okay, this is what I was going to do. I was showing you this article. I always refer back to this article because it's just the one I know that explains capitulation, and I know George Salmon, and I know he knows what he's talking about. I knew him back in the day. I knew him back in 2015. Well, one of the first people I met in the crypto space, they were running an exchange out of Australia. So he explained it, and then 2 days later, the market crashed, and then he got blamed for causing the crash, which is insane. It was all completely insane. Okay, let's go to that day. Let's go when George wrote that article. It was 2015, January 10th. There it is. On January 10th, George writes the article right there. I was wrong. It wasn't January. It was January 14th that we crashed, not January. There's a wick there as well. So right here on January 10th, George writes the article that we have not yet capitulated. Now, you have to realize when this was. The market has already been down for a year, over a year. We're sitting at its lowest point. Everyone thought this was the end of the bear market. It wasn't. Then we fell over here. And then George writes this article, and I was still bearish as well. George writes his capitulation article. Remember, this is at a time where no one knows what a candlestick is, right? Like the crypto traders have no idea what trading is. He writes this article saying that's not how markets capitulate, that there's about to be a serious crash, just as a TA guy, not fundamentals, just TA. And then boom, the crash happens, and then everyone learned what capitulation was. This feels like capitulation, especially with these articles, this Binance tweet, that tweet about Celsius. But we're not there yet. People aren't like, some people got ruined with the Luna garbage, Terra Luna. This is not, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're almost there. This is a horrendous hour. It's kicking off maybe the third consecutive MRI buy. I don't know. But the other problem is that on a daily scale, this is telling you it's not over. The volume is telling you it's not over. This volume would need to be significantly higher than this volume in order for us to admit this capitulation. Go to, like, look at this volume spike at a way higher price. Let's go to the COVID 2020 volume spike. Let's compare. Look at our volume spike. I should probably do this. No, it's not gonna. Hold on. Right, look at the volume spike. Capitulation is not complete. Right there, look at that. Look at that. This volume spike needs to be higher. This volume spike needs to be double, if not triple. This is, I think it's ending. I think this is about to end. It's about to end any day, or any week, or any month. But if we could get a relief rally here, the Consensio chart is horrible across all time frames. The only good news I can tell you is that if you're going to buy for the long haul, this is a great dipping opportunity here. If you're trying to time it perfectly, I would not rush in right now. Not this second. Not this second. This is the GB. How's the GBT premium doing? Well, GBT premium can't go much lower. The price definitely took a royal hit. That looks like a big premium drop. Oh, it's over the weekend. Okay. Yeah, we fell about 4,000 over the weekend. Fell 5,000 over the weekend. Look at that. Look at that. I keep calling it GBTC premium. It's GBTC discount. Someone corrected me in the comments. It is a GBTC discount. And I don't believe GBTC is insolvent. We're not sure about Binance. Jesus Christ. I can't believe what I read this morning. I cannot believe what I read. This is playing you for a bigger fool than if you believed that transaction malleability is what caused Mt. Gox to have 1 billion missing Bitcoin. Not 1 billion, but you know what I mean. Mt. Gox was short like 100,000 Bitcoin or more. And they told you that transaction malleability did it. That was a lie, and so is this. All right, hold on. I need to get my live chat back. 850,000. Yeah, that sounds about right. Man, you're about to see so many exit scams, like people running away. All right. Do you think the S&P might go to 3,400 and then 3,000? Let's take a look at the S&P. All right. Do you think the S&P might go to 3,400 and then 3,000? The S&P. All right. Do you think the S&P might go to 3,400? I don't know where that sound's coming from. All right, so I have too many windows and something refreshed. All right, I think it's good. I didn't do anything. Like, I don't know where that feedback audio just came from. Oh, well. I think we're okay now. I hope. Anyway. Which should be good. So, well, let's go on. Let me look at the S&P. So, yeah, I think it can go down to 3,400. I don't think we're going to go to 3,000. I don't. I think we're going to reverse. No, I don't think Celsius is going to be remembered for the biggest scam. Celsius just ran their company in a bad way. I think Hex is going to be remembered for the biggest scam. I think Hex is a way bigger scam. The Fed has a serious problem. The Fed can't raise rates because it would crush the stock market more. And the Fed's number one responsibility is actually not inflation. The Fed's number one responsibility is to keep propping up the stock market. That's Fed's number one and perhaps only mandate, is to make sure the stock market doesn't crash too much. That is the Fed's job. Everything else is window dressing. And the Fed can't do anything about inflation because that's the government's fault. The government, Fed doesn't control fiscal policy. And it's the fiscal policy and the COVID shutdowns and the sanctions on Russia and, you know, all this other insanity, the movement, the green movement to eliminate all energy except for candles. It's this movement that's causing inflation, not Fed. So I don't think the Fed's going to raise rates much because the stock market's falling.
Yo, Tone, it's me. I jumped in your Zoom call, man.
How?
Panic. It's always the same link, man.
No, it's not. Really?
I don't know. Then I got lucky.
Hold on. Where are you? Where is... Something's wrong with Zoom today. There he is. There's Mechanic. How did you get into this?
It's always the same, man. Hold on. What's up with my camera? There we go. Yo, so you think we might lose Binance to this? That would just be such a beautiful 3 for 3.
You know, I kind of hope so.
Yeah.
In a way, like, look, I don't want people to lose their life savings again and again. But these companies, these bad companies, they need to also go away. Yeah, so I don't know, yeah, this is bad. I was just saying for the last couple of days or last week, this has been the most depressing bear market. And this is my third, and this one feels like this one mentally hurts you more than the others.
I agree, man. It's a whole bunch of factors. First off, you're almost at an all-time high, but then you take inflation into account, and we're way lower in purchasing power. Like we are lower than the 2017 high right now with purchasing power, like a lot lower. And then you've got I don't know. There are other things about it that are making it really difficult, but I also agree that it's good if if all of these shitcoin companies crash and burn, because they hold so many Bitcoin that they pose this systemic risk all the time. Like Celsius have 150,000 Bitcoin, right? And all that's going to get liquidated, and it's going to cause even more dumpage. So it would be good if these companies just, they're going to fail at some point. Let's let them fail sooner rather than later. But I think the Binance thing, I'd give it a few more hours before we start making a headstone, because they probably have a policy where if a bunch of transactions don't confirm, that they stop making withdrawals. They just stop processing them. And that's probably a reasonable company policy for them to have. And I think that could be the case, and they just didn't communicate it properly. By about 3 p.m. today, New York time, if they haven't turned it back on again, then they're done. Then I think it's definitely shenanigans. But at the moment, I'm not celebrating yet, because for me, celebration is when Binance does actually collapse, because it deserves to. It's a shitcoin casino. Fuck them. They deserve to collapse. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I think they can just be, they got caught with their pants down with, like, the mempool was empty last night. Now it's 31 blocks deep.
Right. Right. That's what I said at the beginning of the stream. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Have you been up to date on the Celsius thing?
Fairly. Like, I mean, they're quite opaque as a company. It's not like Luna. Luna, we sort of knew everything that was going on as it was going on, and we could call it in real time. Celsius is a lot more obscure. People don't really know what's going on. Obviously, we saw that they moved, I think it was 150,000 Bitcoin or something, or some percentage of that to FTX yesterday. We know they did that, but we don't really know what their balances are, what their reserves are, how much they've rehypothecated, how much they're supposed to have, and all that's a bad sign, right? So Celsius is definitely dead. Like they are they are absolutely just fucked. And I think at 22,600 they are forced to liquidate everything. So we are $500 away from another nuke downwards. So that would be a real capitulation event, down to like 18,000 immediately.
Hey, you want to see some more news of, speaking of unreasonably scammy companies that have their name on a stadium in Los Angeles, I believe? Crypto.com says they're going to lay off 260 people.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. It's not good if you have a job there, but Crypto.com is also one of the shadiest companies. One of the shadiest big companies. There's a scale, right? Like there's a high bar for like companies that have their names on stadiums. And they're very, very shady. And Crypto.com is up there in my top 10 most shady, huge companies. And there they go. They're laying people off. They're probably in trouble as well. Yeah, the market is certainly capitulating, but I'm a little concerned, for the MicroStrategy's position in Bitcoin, for El Salvador's position in Bitcoin. Elon will be fine. I think Elon's just going to buy more. I think Elon did help by trying to buy Twitter. I think Twitter is going to be a little more free speech, just on that fear that Elon can still buy it. So that has helped. But if he can get his money back, he'll probably buy Bitcoin now that it's at such a major discount. I want to pull up MicroStrategy stock. Oh, by the way, just last night, I was talking to someone and I glanced at Terra Luna. Look how the MRI called the Terra Luna implosion.
I don't know how to explain stuff like that, man. Like, how can it, like, this is scammy events. It's like someone stole my wallet and the MRI predicted that I was going to get robbed that day. Like,
yeah, look, sometimes it's a coincidence, but it's funny because this is the monthly chart of this project from day one of its existence. And it called the top to the month as the only top it ever called. And it went to zero.
To have taken advantage of it, though, you'd have had to have been in Terra. Or no, you'd have had to short it, I guess.
Yeah, you would have to short it. You also would have to pay attention. It's hard to pay attention to every asset on every time frame, right? Not every time frame, but like the main time frames. What am I looking for? MicroStrategies. So their stock is down huge.
Yeah, they're going to be. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's not good. So
it's like the US dollar versus the Russian ruble.
Yeah. So their stock is actually down to pre-Bitcoin levels, which is not good. But not good at all, right there. Oh boy, see that kind of stuff scares me, right? And also, like, what happens to El Salvador? Like, I'm hoping that the price reverses and goes way up, because otherwise, the Bukele re-election is not going to go very well, or like his successors, like people in his camp. So hopefully this reverses soon. Celsius sold more wrapped Bitcoin collateral as needed, so it's now 18,377 liquidation. That's what someone just said. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that.
We just broke 23 on Bitstamp, so now we're.
Oh, really? Let me look at the index.
This is the lowest weekly RSI ever, I think, except maybe the man bear whale at 150. I don't know if you remember that in 2015.
Very well. I was talking about that earlier, actually.
Way further back.
Oh, yeah. Well, we need the RSI, right? Oh, wow. Look at that.
Well, I think we might be lower.
So the current RSI is at 28. We're lower. But if we reverse this week, remember the week just started. Today's Monday.
True.
So this is the current RSI if the candle closes. If we reverse and we close this week at 27, the RSI is not going to be this low. So we have broken 23,000 across the board. Well, Celsius is going to keep getting. This could keep going, because remember, as Celsius continues to liquidate their wrapped Bitcoin or whatever, or Bitcoin, they're pushing the price down as they liquidate it. So they're basically, crashing the market further while destroying all of their collateral. And this is how companies implode, and better companies that do a similar job ethically, like an Unchained Capital, should be doing relatively well, even though their clients could be in a little bit of a bind right now, because that collateral on behalf of their clients could be sold.
Yeah, it's rough. I think Unchained Capital and Ledden are reputable companies that aren't going to collapse like these other ones. Even Corey, who's like,
oh yeah, just
absolutely killing it. Every time he calls out a company, they're dead pretty soon. And I can't believe he's 2 for 2. If Binance collapses, well, I don't think Corey shouted out Binance, but man, Corey's absolutely killing it.
Speaking of Corey, let's pull him up.
That's with a C.
Oh, sorry. Corey, shout out to Corey. Should follow Corey. He's been doing a good
God's
job.
work, man. He's been offering free, what is it, Swan Premium membership or something. It's worth $3,000 a year to anyone that will to bail out of these shitcoin casinos, and he's been honoring it. It's been great. Holy fuck, we're down to 22,700. This feels like March 2020.
Not yet.
Not yet.
March
No.
2020 was worse.
Yeah, that was the volume was like 8 times higher.
Yeah,
than
the volume was through the roof. I mean, we thought BitMax was going to fail.
Yeah. I'd really like to see Coinbase collapse, to be honest. But as far as I can tell, Coinbase aren't, actually scammy. They sell scam coins, but they're not insolvent. We've just touched the 200-week moving average.
I'm going to retweet this. Yeah, Swan Bitcoin, we're supporters. There is a link on Tone Vays affiliate page for Swan. Go ahead and use it if you guys are looking to purchase Bitcoin right now at a nice, huge discount price. Also, since Mechanic is here, Start9 is your employer. How's it going over there?
It's going great. The Pro is, we're getting there with the Pro. We started getting attacked lately by bad actors like JW, which is a good sign. He's saying Dude,
JW is such that guy is such a prick. He has absolutely nothing better to do with his life than to just attack mostly good people and good companies just because he could. It's insane.
Every good it's a seal of approval. Every time he attacks something, I'm like, I should check that out. So far he's attacked Electrum, Cold Card, Start9, and tried his best to force the truckers who are receiving Bitcoin donations to be on camera while they received it, and he threatened to sue if that wasn't the case. And
I wish I knew that, because I would have messaged Jeff Booth and I would have messaged what's his name? I would have messaged a bunch of
Greg Boston Sessions.
Yeah, BTC Sessions, and I would have told them, because I've dealt with JW going back to the World Crypto Network days of long ago, of like 2016, 17. And the guy's smart, but that's where it ends. I blocked him a long time ago. All he does is talk, probably from his mom's basement. He has absolutely no ability to sue anyone. He would have to dox his name to do so, assuming he even has the money to file a lawsuit.
I mean, do you remember the original thing he did that pissed everyone off? Well, if you're going back to World Crypto, it's probably older, but the thing he did that first pissed everyone is invent this Yeti cold storage thing and then write everywhere that like Andreas supported it and Gavin supported it and all these people, and they all messaged him like, I've never heard of this fucking thing. Take my name off your website. Right. Like, it was just, the guy is a pathological liar, man. And I honestly hate him more than pretty much anyone else in the space. I mean, we're talking Craig, Jihan, and Ethan. Like, JW might be the worst actor in the whole space, just for the kinds of attacks he does and the people he goes after, who are people that are really trying, like it's Start9's a startup, right? It's a small operation. Everyone's working 25 hours a day. Like, just having people come out and call us CIA agents and all that, it's just a fucking waste of time we can do without. But you have to respond to it, right? Like, or don't you? I don't know. I'm trying to say, we're saying in our internal chat, like, nobody give this guy don't give it oxygen. Just fucking ignore it.
Yep. Oh, I mentioned earlier, because like Twitter keeps asking me to watch this January 6th hearing. I thought this already failed. This attempt already failed last year. And I mentioned that I don't need to watch it because I was there, and people are surprised. Yes, I was there live streaming from there. The videos are still up. I was there live streaming the breach of the fence and people running into the Capitol. I was I was there for that, and the live streams are still up. They're trying to make
January 6th a thing so hard, and it's not going to be a thing, man. Like, it's a joke.
And I watched some of the January 6th hearing last year, and I'm watching it on the news, and I'm like, wow, it's literally all lies, because I was there and I watched it all and I filmed a bunch of it. And most of the stuff in that hearing is outright lies. And I know they're lies because I was there. Like, if you're not there, you don't know how much they're lying about what happened there.
Yeah, man, there was a George Orwell quote, and it's not from 1984. I'm not sure where he wrote it. It was some article, and he's like, I think it was a civil war in Spain. And he was like, I was at this thing and I watched the news reporting, and he's like, everything about it was false. Like, they would invent battles that they decided should have happened in order to tell a narrative. They're like, they decide on the narrative and then they just invent events. Like, if those events are real, they'll use them. But if they're not, they'll just make them up. He's like, battles were being written about in newspapers that literally didn't happen. And I was there. And the opposite happened. Battles that did happen were just erased from existence. He's like, this is total lies, and they do it completely shamelessly. And that's what happened with January 6th. They're pretending there was a terrorist insurgency inside America. And it was just a bunch of people who Trump told to go home, like, go home peacefully. We've made our point. And they're acting like he needs to be held accountable for trying to subvert a democracy. And their only argument is Trump said that the election wasn't legitimate. And the people attacking him for saying that spent 4 years crying that Russia manipulated their elections and their elections weren't legitimate because Trump won. So how can anyone take these people seriously or treat them like they have any credibility? It's such a joke.
Well, we're seeing the end result of that with our current administration. All right, back to the price. So yeah, so the moment this line breached, and I've been talking about this, I don't know if you've been watching my streams, the moment this line breached right here at 29,000, I expected a bunch of shit to go down. And once again, we go down very, very quickly. Couldn't time it perfectly right. I thought we would break this line at the end of May. And it would take a little bit slower to get down to that $21,000 area. But it broke in the middle of June, and it's about to get there very, very quickly. As these companies that have, tied up Bitcoin, even on a safe trade, like a 2x leverage trade, the 2x leverage trade, that once the price drops 50%, your trade's done. You got no more money. At this point, I would say a 2x leverage is on a way safer side. When you 2x leverage at 33, 34,000, it can drop 50%. Like we can drop to 17K. At this point, sitting at 22, 23,000, Bitcoin dropping down to 11K is significantly less likely than Bitcoin dropping to 17, 18K. So even a 2x leverage trade at this point is a way higher statistical probability of not liquidating for obvious reasons. So this is also a point where some of these use your Bitcoin to borrow cash situations get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I know this firsthand. This is my first time fucking up, and it feels embarrassing to learn this to learn this lesson so late in my Bitcoin, career, if you want to call it that. Like these products like B2X, the Leaden offer and stuff like that weren't really around for reputable companies, at least for years. So I thought I was being clever. I got in, I bought some Bitcoin with money I didn't have in the 40,000s. And I did it to a very small extent, so I can just carry on, backing these things up with more collateral. So I'm not about to get wiped out, but eventually you get wiped out no matter what you do, because you need more and more. Like at 22K, I'm fine. At 17K, it's hard. And at 12K, there's nothing I could do. I would need my entire stash, just to back up a relatively small loan. So I'm learning a lesson that's humiliating to have to learn. It's because I'm with all these people, just buy and hold, self-custody, get your coins off exchanges, no leverage. These are obvious lessons. And apparently I didn't realize it because I never actually made that mistake until this bull market, which is actually one of the reasons I personally agree with you where I say this is the most depressing bull market Bitcoin has had, because I've never been in these situations before. In every other bull market, it was just my stash going down in dollar value, but I was never at risk of having to force sell any of it. The 2018 one was awful because I did sell a bunch of fork coins in 2017, and then I had to pay the tax bill and all that shit in January 2019, which was the lowest price Bitcoin's been since then, basically. So that sucked. In a different way. This time I didn't sell any Bitcoin at the top, and there were no fork coins to dump. But I still have to sell Bitcoin just to live, and the price sucks. So there's a whole myriad of reasons this is the most depressing bear market Bitcoin's ever had. The most of which I'd say is that it's only June in this 4-year cycle. Usually we're not bottoming out till the end of the year or the beginning of. You'd expect to be bottoming out at the beginning of 2023, right? This is June 2022. Like, we don't have a halving for a long time, and even that doesn't offer much of a hope for recovery.
Yeah, we got 2.5 years till the halving now, and No, I think it looks okay because people are going to start buying into the halving like a year in advance. So next year, I'm definitely expecting a big bull market, but we've been saying that for quite a while. No, it's definitely a bit of a crazy situation. My problem is, I also did not expect Bitcoin to be sitting at this low price at the moment. So my problem is paying this bill, which is not a small bill.
Yeah.
This is not a cheap castle to rent.
And
So many people are like, "Hey, Tone, I'm definitely coming. I'm definitely coming. Just give me 2 or 3 weeks. I'm waiting for the Bitcoin price to go up a little bit, and then I'll pay for my ticket." And I'm like, "Yeah, this might be a problem now."
They might have to find.
I may have to take credit because I want the event to be great. I want good people there. I may just take people on credit and have them pay later, right? Because like this is already prepaid, right? So now it's a matter of let's have a great event. Let's have a good 40, 50 people there. And I know people are struggling, so we'll see.
And there are Citadel projects everywhere, and they all sprung up as a result of the, how lucrative things were. So you've got Untapped, you've got Rancho Satoshi, you've got well, I don't know if there's a name for the one over on the east side, but this.
I was down in Panama looking to buy an island.
Right. Everyone made commitments.
Yeah, no, we can't afford that anymore. Yeah.
Well, like Bitcoin City, El Salvador, MicroStrategy, all these people have bitten off more than they can chew potentially. Like MicroStrategy is probably okay because their margin call is so low. It's at like $2,000 or something, like a price of $2,000. So they'll be fine. But Bukele might be in hotter water, and the Citadel projects are going to have trouble getting financing. I know because I'm involved in these things. Like, yeah, everyone might have just bitten off more than they can chew here, and that exacerbates the downside. Yep,
it sure does. It sure does. And I like I said, guys, I don't see a reversal right here. We've been doing the stream for like an hour now. I don't see it. I need some kind of a sign. We need some kind of price action. That's a horrendous CMF on the hourly chart. Probably as bad in 2 years as we've had it. It's I don't have that much. The only good news I have is the bottom's coming soon, but it could be next month. Obviously, we're not going to be falling at this rate, or Bitcoin's going to zero, which we're all sure it's not.
It's not going to zero. I know that. I think you're always saying price and time. I think if you buy this week, you're going to do well. I'm not sure if we bottom at 14K or 17K or 21 or something, but this is the time to buy for sure. I don't know about the price.
Yeah, everyone wants to come to Dominican Republic now on credit. I wasn't exactly serious about that, but yeah, look, my priority is to have an incredible event. So it will still happen. It's still going down.
How much is a ticket? Like if that's public info, I don't know.
No, it's public. It's on the website. So a ticket's 9,000, not including the flights, which are also not helping with these fuel prices. The flights are going up like crazy. But yeah, but it is like a $500-600 a night resort. We have rented the conference room. We have food. We have alcohol. Like everything's included. It's about how much it would cost you to take a vacation at this property.
Well, you just mentioned oil prices. Do you see that Ukraine have banned all exports of oil, and Libya has also said they're no longer going to produce any oil? So this controlled demolition theory just feels more and more like undeniable at this point. Like they're just trying everything they can to ruin everything.
Yeah, no, they should shut down more nuclear power plants because they're killing the environment, apparently. No, it's insane. I think once US starts having rolling blackouts because they don't have enough energy, people are finally going to realize like who's actually at fault for this.
And who's that?
Oh, we both know who that is. No, the current it's the Democrats, because they cut the pipeline. They don't want energy. It's not even the Democrats. I don't even want to blame the Democrats for this. It's idiots listening to Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum's agenda.
Yep.
Which is mostly the Democrats, but a lot of Republicans.
Yeah, a bunch of Republicans are voting for the red flag laws as well. So I don't take much comfort in Republicans, and I don't even blame the left for everything. I think it's deeper than that. Did you watch What Is a Woman yet?
No, where was that again? Oh,
it was done by.
It was a documentary, right?
Yeah, Matt Walsh, and he went around asking, nutcase, blue hair people about what women are, and every time they would just cut the interview. It was funny. It's a good documentary, but it's like the second half of it's tragic, man. Like there's a woman on there who got transitioned to being a man, and she's just fucked. Like she's like, I'm not going to live much longer. Like I'm on antibiotics all the time, like constant infections. She's like, I was 40 and the propaganda got me. And she's like, they're doing this to your kids now in schools, and they're telling you don't have to tell your parents, and they're even blocking parents from knowing about it. They're like, these kids don't stand a chance. And I know about it because in BC, Canada, there's a few art schools around here that have like gone seriously overboard with it, where parents have ended up in jail and getting $30,000 fines for not using their pronouns or trying to block their 14-year-old going on hormones and going into medical transition and all that stuff. And it's literally like if you don't want your 14-year-old to get her boobs cut off, you will end up in jail if you express any concern about it. Like you have to actively say it's a good idea. You can't even say I think this is a bad idea.
Right.
It's gone to that
mechanic, we got live audience saying your mic's coming in a bit loud.
Oh, sorry. I'll turn it down, guys.
Yeah. All right, cool.
1, 2, that should be better.
So yeah, no, I agree with you. It's completely insane. And this is where America's headed. And this is why we're both getting the hell out of the West. I know you're a little bit north of America. Why are you still in Canada? I still don't know. But we should talk about that on the political channel. Hopefully it eventually starts. I don't know if I can do it before this conference in Dominican Republic is over. I kind of need this conference to see what is my future in the crypto and finance space, because this is this is a pretty big deal, considering based on what happened in Dubai and how well that event went. I was like, oh, we can do it better and bigger next time. Because that event ended when the price of Bitcoin was literally $68,000, and everyone loved it, and everyone at the event, we had 50 people like, we're all coming again, but no one expected the price of Bitcoin to be down at 20,000 when that event ended in literally November. It ended right at the top, and we were all so high. I immediately went and signed the contract. I'm like, everyone's gonna come because the price of Bitcoin is gonna be over 100, and here we are. So
I remember
that's okay.
I remember upgrading my flight home from Dubai to business class just because of the general feeling of that's it, up forever. It's going up forever, Laura.
Yeah. Here. So my event in the Financial Summit of the Dominican Republic, you were there for a different event. The Financial Summit of the Dominican Republic ended on the 7th of November. So right here. Like 7th and 8th was the last day, 7th or 8th. So literally the event, the Financial Summit in Dubai ended at the Bitcoin top. And that was like, all right, everyone's going to sign up. And then the price keeps going. It's like, yeah. Once the price rises a bit, I'll sign up. Once it rises a bit, I'll sign up.
Yeah. Oh,
boy. No, but we still have a good crowd. We're still going to have, the very first event only had 23 people, and it was incredible. So it'll still be awesome.
This is a serious nuke downwards, man. That candle is comparable to when the China mining ban happened. Maybe the volume sucks in comparison, but as a percentage, I haven't seen a candle and this goes over 2 days as well. This only started at the very end of yesterday, around 10 p.m. UTC. So yeah, that candle, those combined candles might be more than the China mining ban now, I think. But not the volume, right?
Yeah, the volume is just not there yet. I mean, it feels like we haven't had too many liquidations yet. But then again, by end of day, this will probably break this volume. Remember, we still have a good 8 hours to go. And the selling just started the last few hours. Well, accelerated selling. So let's see what the volume is, but I can't see the volume being at this level, which is probably where it needs to be. I want to say this is a capitulation, but I'm not convinced yet.
It isn't yet. Let's be real. This is not capitulation volume. This is low volume for such a drop. Like, this is pathetic, in my opinion. Like, this, you know, the amount of Bitcoin changing hands right now for the price to tank this low just tells me that the macro factors are way more important. We're in a fucking depression. There's no money anywhere. Stocks are absolutely tanking. Bitcoin is just collateral damage in a lot of that, you know?
Yeah, the stock market's in trouble, and this is why I don't think Fed can raise the rates. I've been on a bunch of Twitter spaces lately, and I'm saying the same thing. Like, inflation or no inflation, like inflation is less of a problem than a crash in the stock market, because a crash in the stock market also kills a person's job.
Good point.
And the price of food going up 20% is less relevant if you lose your job. Is less relevant than losing your job. Losing your job is keeping your job is more important.
Yeah, we're talking mass unemployment if this carries on. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. So the Fed will need to support the stock market ahead of lowering inflation.
So you think rates? When's the next Fed announcement? I don't really follow these things, but
yeah, that's a good question. Let me look it up.
And, you know, are we talking them lowering rates or just leaving it where it is? I think they can't lower.
No, they're going to raise it. They're going to raise it, right? People think they're going to raise it like 0.75%. I think they're going to raise it maybe a quarter.
Right.
So the Fed calendar is, Jesus Christ, why can't they give like a normal calendar? 2022. June 14, 15. Oh, wow. Okay. Today. Shit. FOMC meeting. Yeah, it's happening right now. Is today the 14th or is that tomorrow?
13th today.
13th. So tomorrow. The Fed meeting's tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, no, I think the market's going to bounce. I think they're scared shitless right now that if they raise the rate too much, the market's going to completely tank. And the Fed is smart enough to know that raising the federal funds rates from whatever ridiculously low level it is to a slightly higher, but also ridiculously low level has nothing to do with inflation. Nothing. It's not going to fix inflation. So either they raise the interest rate by like 3%, or they might as well not do anything.
Just rip the Band-Aid off, eh? I mean, what happened in the 80s? Like, you're the expert here. Like, there's been times where we were in a similar economic situation, but the rates were way higher and they actually had something to cut.
Right. So in the 80s, the Fed raised the interest rate to a ridiculous amount because inflation was getting kind of high. But at the same time, in the 80s, the government wasn't trillions upon trillions upon trillions in debt. So in the 80s, the government was able to borrow money and they had no old debt to restructure at a higher interest rate. So in the 80s, they were able to just like raise the interest rate to avoid people freaking out, right? Like, yeah, your prices are going up, but you can now put money in the bank and earn a high CD interest rate, you know, so you can get some of that money back. So the Fed was raising the interest rate to kind of give people a savings rate. Also back in the 80s, people cared way more about, they trusted the government more than they, in a way, like they were willing to keep their money with the government. Less people were investing in the stock market back then. Like in the 80s, if you try to support the stock market, you're really only supporting the super wealthy that have the ability to own stocks. Today, everybody owns stocks, from their retirement accounts to everything. The politicians are way more invested in stocks. So in the 80s, they had the ability to raise that interest rate, and it didn't make a big deal. Today, they can't. They can't raise that. The government's debts would implode. The the stock market is now so dependent on this interest rate. It's not even dependent on the interest rate. It's the news cycle is making people believe that the interest rate actually matters to the stock market. So the stock market will crash if the Fed announces a big rate increase. They're not going to do shit. I say 0.5%, they'll increase it. And I'm not even all that confident in 0.5. I think it's going to be a quarter. I think they're going to say that. I think the Fed is going to throw the government under the bus. I think the Fed is tired of being blamed for everything by the government, where it's the government that caused all these problems. And the Fed knows this. And Jerome Powell knows no matter what he does, he's getting fired. So I think he's going to go all out. I think one of these days, he's just going to say, fuck it. Janet Yellen can admit the truth that she has no idea how inflation works. So Jerome Powell can do the same and say that, you know what? This shit ain't our fault. It's the Congress. They're the idiots. They shut down the economy. They shut down the businesses over a cold. They put in sanctions on Russia, which we advised them not to do. They caused your inflation. This shit has nothing to do with us, and we're not going to be bailing out the government. We don't think that the interest rate should be raised. We don't think the interest rate actually fights inflation, just because the rise in interest rate was correlated with, the ending of inflation in the 80s. It doesn't mean that correlation is going to hold again. And I think they're just going to throw Congress under the bus for their ridiculousness of fiscal policy.
So the wheel is coming off to a greater extent now with them. Like, if that happens and you get different institutions in America start to throw each other under the bus like that, then that signifies a real collapse. Hey, like America hasn't been doing great since Biden got elected, but the response to COVID, all of the things you just mentioned, like, what do you see big picture wise and how it affects Bitcoin by 2024, 2025? Like, what's up with the dollar? What's up with Bitcoin? What's up with America? What's up with the union? Like, how are you planning out?
A lot of it's going to depend on Russia, Ukraine. A lot. Because right now they're starting to throw Zelensky under the bus a little bit. If you're reading the signs, in the next few weeks, maybe a month at most, there's going to be a serious revelation about Ukraine. And it depends how the masses accept it, right? See, right now, the masses still believe that Ukraine has a chance to fight back Russia. I don't believe that they do. So
I don't think the masses are going to think anything that they're not told to think. I've given up all hope that there's any righteous indignation or outrage. People are with the Ukrainian flags in their bio. If all that turns out to be bullshit, they just remove the flag from their bio. That's it.
Yeah, they're going to just stick another flag. I agree. Or another, I don't know, sign or whatever. I don't even know what's next, but who the hell knows? But see, what's going to happen is Ukraine and the Europe are going to capitulate on the Russia situation. Mm-hmm. And when the public is told that Ukraine has lost a bunch of territory they're never going to see again, they've already spun and charged people up to the point that if Russia wins in Ukraine, Russia is going to take over Spain, Portugal, England, even Iceland, and everything in between, right? So the genuine fear of people about Russia, when they learn that Ukraine has lost, what's going to happen to their money? How are those people going to mentally capitulate with the fear that Russian tanks are going to be rolling down in Berlin and in Paris? Now, I don't believe that's going to happen, but that's my opinion, right? But it's about how people have been brainwashed into thinking that if Russia wins in Ukraine, that Russian tanks are going to roll down every European country, okay? Uh-huh. So I still believe that the fear of these people that Russians are coming will send their money to the United States. Now, the only thing that could prevent them from doing so is our current incredible administration and the fine job that they're doing. But if this capitulation in Ukraine also takes down Biden from his post for medical reasons, for whatever, maybe he trips down the stairs, I don't know, okay, or up the stairs, who knows, right? Biden stepping down and handing it off to Kamala Harris could be a huge boost for the stock market, an enormous boost for the stock market on two fronts. First off, everyone with 3 cents in their brain knows that Biden belongs in a nursing home. That's obvious. Normally, when a president has health issues or has like an attempt on his life, like what happened with Reagan, like what happened with JFK, usually when there is a crazy situation like that, it panics the market. But not in the case of Biden, because people are seeing what's going on in this whole insanity. Also, Biden stepping down before 2023. See, I always thought that Biden would step down in 2023.
So that Kamala gets 10 years, right?
So Kamala gets 10 years, but I think everyone knows nobody wants Kamala to actually run. No one wants her for 10 years. I think the Democrats would never let her do that. So now, I think the Democratic plan has changed. Now, Biden should step down before 2023, just so that Kamala doesn't get that extra 4 years, and that Kamala takes over for Biden, knowing that the Democrats aren't even going to let her run the first time, right?
Yeah.
So if Kamala is only president for, say, 9 months or 12 months, they can spin it that she never had a real chance to do anything. So we need to reelect her. And now she has an additional 4 years after that. But if Kamala steps in earlier than later, then the Democrats have a chance to put someone else into that election. It's not going to be Biden, and it's not going to be Kamala. They can say, well, look, Biden had health issues, and Kamala had a little over 2 years, and we feel that she wasn't a strong candidate to take over. Here's our new guy. Here's our new girl. Oh, sorry, I can't say those words. Here's our new they, them to run for the Democratic presidential election, right?
This is a very, very likely scenario. And this is what was done in the UK with the Brexit fiasco, where when something politically unpalatable was going on, they stuck someone in that they just didn't give a shit about and went, don't worry, it's a woman. This is monumentally important because we have a woman in charge. This was Theresa May, and no one likes Theresa May, and everyone in her party was happy for her to be the fall guy or fall woman, because no one could be a captain of that sinking ship during that whole fiasco. And then Boris Johnson, who everyone actually wanted and liked, waited. He was a potential, but they waited until it was a chance for, he was like, okay, now I can be in charge of something that might actually work. And then COVID hit, and so and then he's aged about 20 years in 3 months. But I think Kamala Harris is a fall guy for this whole thing, and no one really gives a shit about her. And I think your general.
No, Biden needs to be a fall guy. You can't have Kamala be the fall. Well, am I allowed to call her a woman?
I don't know. Are you a biologist?
So she can't be the full human because she's mentally present. I was about to say sane, but she's mentally present. You can have Biden be the full human because he's not mentally present. So it doesn't matter if he's the full human.
Mm-hmm. So to the bigger picture then, this is political channel stuff, and I apologize for making it go that way, but it is supposed to circle back here, this conversation, into where the hell, if you're saying all these people send all these Europeans that are shit scared of Russian tanks rolling under the Eiffel Tower and stuff, they're going to send everything into dollars and move it all over to America, and the dollar. Exactly. Well, if that's your perspective on it, what happens to Bitcoin in that circumstance?
Oh, Bitcoin should go up, right? Because then the euro could implode. People will run into Bitcoin, but it's hard to run into Bitcoin when it's going down. So,
I got Svetsky wants to join. Should I send him the link, bro?
Do you want my channel to get banned? Yeah. Bring in Svetsky. I'll give him a warning.
I'm bringing in Svetsky. I can't resist it. Copy link. All right, there we go. Svetsky's on the way. Ban hammer in 3, 2. This is beautiful. You should turn this into a marathon stream. When price moves this much anyway, it deserves
I know. I mean, I thought about going live last night. We could have probably stayed on all night. Like I do have some work to do. I do need to email the resort in down there in Dominican Republic. Let them know I'm not totally broke yet. And we will pay some more bills.
Man, we got to get these Citadel projects going because the sad.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get it going, right? Because like eventually we'll have nothing better to do than pick up a shovel and dig the holes ourselves.
Yeah,
for sure. Grow our own food, right? If the Bitcoin price keeps going down.
I know, man. I got my permanent residence in Mexico. I got my foot in the door in the Citadels, and but I'm a city kid. This idea of generating power off grid, pumping water out of a cenote, it's daunting, but I got to do it, man. Like every time Canada has a political development, I'm like, yep. Well, that just reinforces my decision to get out of here and live in Mexico, where I will be left alone.
So sorry, sir. I have to explain a very important comment right now. So Edward Tutert says, can Tone please explain his views on Russia? Why does he think that Russia will invade the whole of Europe? No, I don't. I don't believe Russia will invade the whole of Europe. Sorry, that was maybe I wasn't sarcastic enough. People in Europe believe that Russia will invade the whole of Europe. I don't. I personally think this stops at the Dnieper River. I actually think Russia doesn't even want to invade Kiev at this point. I don't think it's going to go there, but people think that it's going to go there because the news has made them believe that Russia wants to take over the entire globe. So it's not my opinion. It's what people think, and they're going to try to send their money somewhere. And that money will probably be into the US. And the biggest beneficiary of that would be if Biden steps down along with this mess, giving people more confidence to send their money to the US. We know Russian tanks are not going to roll down, Fifth Avenue in New York, right? And we know that Chinese tanks are not going to run down Hollywood Boulevard, right? Like we know that's not going to happen. So the safest place to actually put your money is in US dollars and on American soil, because no one's going to invade the US. Though if they succeed in removing the Second Amendment and taking away anyone's guns, anyone knows. And no one knows what's going to happen in the future in the US. But the United States will be the safest place for European money when they have a fear that Putin's going to roll down their country. And they don't have this fear yet because they all still think that Ukraine can win and push Russia back and actually enter, Russian soil with their tanks. But within the next few months, I believe people will, Ukraine will come to the negotiating table and surrender that territory. And then people will realize that Russia has won. That's also my complete opinion of what's going to happen. It's not about what I want to happen. It's my opinion on what I think will happen. And when people in Europe are told that Ukraine lost, they're going to get scared as shit. People are saying, when did the Bitcoin bear market start? This is actually, for me, this is a very easy question. Let me go to the weekly chart. For me personally, it's an easy question. The bear market started in April of 2021. The bear market started here. I didn't admit that the bear market started there until sometime in May of this year. But that's when it started. But this was, for me personally, this was an incredibly challenging market to try and navigate and identify I don't want to use the word predict because no one can really predict. So there you
go. Yeah, I remember you, to your credit, I remember you saying the entire time that you're going to, if and when you decide it is a bear market, the time you call it will be of no use to anyone. And that was true.
Right. In this particular market, the prior to bear market.
You did great. I will defend you forever for calling the 2018 market exactly as it fucking went down. So I'm defending you there. I don't know why you get so much shit for your calls, because the 2018 market was literally a year of people calling you a moron, and you were completely right. So fuck these people. Hey, Svetsky's here.
What up?
All right, let me.
Hey, you have the loudest mic ever, bro. You got to turn that.
Sorry, bro. I had to fucking scream.
Right.
Yeah. So heads up. Try not to get my channel banned, but other than that,
how would I ban your channel? Come on, Tone. I'm a nice guy. I never say anything wrong.
What's with the backward midwit meme, man? I guess it doesn't make any difference, does it?
Say what?
You've flipped the midwit meme the other way around, but I guess it doesn't make any difference given that
isn't the idea that the intelligent one's on the right? I had to flip it because, or maybe you guys see it the other way around. I wonder.
Yeah, all the numbers are mirror images.
Yeah. Well, I had to, because that guy's supposed to be on that side. But anyway, I was just listening to you guys talk about the parasites throwing each other under the bus. And it's funny, I had a talk with Mark Moss a little while ago about this. We were in LA, and he was reading. Was he reading something, or he mentioned something to me about how you've kind of got like the two big banking cartels, which are effectively like the Federal Reserve and the IMF, and they kind of hate each other. And like we have this assumption that they're all kind of working together behind the scenes, but it's not really the case. That everyone kind of wants to get the upper hand on each other. There's never one complete total cohesion, and that doesn't happen in anything. Like this idea that one group or one cabal runs everything is such a fucking joke. So I totally agree with Tone. Like at some point, like I think the Biden administration, stuff like that, are definitely sided with with without getting too conspiratorial here, but like the Rothschild arm, like the European arm of the Klaus Schwabs and the like of that kind of faction. And then you've got the Federal Reserve faction, which is the Jerome Powells and stuff like that, who are sided on the different end. And I don't know, I'm kind of like, let them eat each other. We just got to kind of like step out of the way so we don't become collateral damage in the process. So I don't know. I still disagree with controlled demolition, because I don't think anything is controlled. I just think they're, ravens or vultures trying to like, eat at a carcass. And I don't think they know, particularly, the people who are in government. I think they know probably the least about what's actually going on, because they believe their own stupidity. And I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to watch.
I'm inclined to agree. They definitely want to rip each other to pieces, and they definitely they are defined by their own lack of morals and principles and integrity. So they don't trust each other. They'd be mad to trust each other.
Well, of course, because they're all the same. Like, so when you're a crook, as if you're gonna sit there and like trust the crook on the other side of the table. You're just waiting for a moment that you can shank them. And the best part about it is that they know that they're not working with their own money. They're working with our wealth. So they can do whatever they want. Like, so they have to play this game of like, high level strategy and decision making and power grab, but someone else pays for it, which is hilarious.
Yep. So going back to Bitcoin for a second. Have you heard any rumors on Celsius? What's going on over in Binance? Any other, major companies that we know have always been scammy, but they somehow been pulling fast ones on regulators? How close are some of them to imploding?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ones that are most likely to implode are the ones with loans on their books. So I don't know. I know Binance kind of got into that game. I don't think they got into that game significantly though. But yeah, I mean, Celsius is up shit creek now without a paddle, which is hilarious. That Mashinsky guy was such a moron, man. Um, I still remember when we went to Bitcoin 2019 in San Francisco, and he was one of the major sponsors there, and everyone gave him so much shit. And we
Right?
gave
No, we
BTC
did as
media shit.
well. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
booth. They were one of the big sponsors, and we're
Uh-huh,
like,
uh-huh.
"Hey, Bitcoin Magazine, like this is a shit show of
Yeah,
the
what are these
Celsius
idiots
thing."
doing here? Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And now they're getting pummeled. So I mean, I hesitate to think that Binance is in trouble. Like, you know,
Hmm.
CZ's got more money than God at this point. And I think Binance just makes so much money. Like, I mean, they what did they printed how many billions out of thin air? Like, as if they don't have the
They've
solvency
been
to
printing
like,
so much money, they've been burning their own token.
yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I don't think they're in trouble. I just think they're incompetent, and they've probably got like this mass exodus of people trying to withdraw Bitcoin, and they've probably got it, wrapped up in all sorts of weird, convoluted ways to try and keep it safe. And their partners, their custody partners, probably have, you know,
So breakers.
so exactly circuit breakers and things like that. And then also, like, I think the way Binance is set up, it's quite multi-jurisdictional. So I think, they're not going to hold all their Bitcoin with one custodian or in one custody format. So I think I think it's just pandemonium. Like, and there's probably all these people who have got their Bitcoin levered up with Celsius or, insert, shitcoin loan provider, and they're kind of rushing to Binance to pull the Bitcoin out to try and service the loans. So it's kind of causing this kind of systemic,
Agent.
yeah. So I don't think Binance is in trouble. I don't think we're going to
It's
get
too good
this
to be true.
lucky.
It's too good to be true. We don't lose
Yeah,
Binance.
yeah.
But
Not yet.
when we take out the final behemoths, that's Binance, Coinbase, for fuck's sake. Coinbase, gotta die. Even Gemini, to be honest. And sorry to say it, Tom, GBTC. I don't know how they get caught with their pants down, but they need to. Like, the only reason Bitcoin survived SegWit 2x is because Barry Silbert didn't have custody of fucking 700,000 Bitcoins or something. He does now. It's not a good thing. I want GBTC to die. I don't know how it dies, but don't they have tickers for like Ethereum and Doge and stuff? Like,
Yeah, they have those, right? But again, GBTC should be fully backed by Bitcoin. So I don't see how GBTC dies unless that Bitcoin was rehypothecated by Grayscale, and that Bitcoin gets, liquidated. So unless he did something shady with that Bitcoin, I don't see how GBTC dies. These other tokens, yeah, the underlying backing can die. Like the Ethereum token go to zero. The Bcash token probably will go to zero sooner or later. Its mining will implode. That thing can be double spent. So yeah, the underlying token could implode. So the only way the actual GBTC token dies is if something shady was done with the underlying asset. And I haven't seen any, evidence of that. So I have no idea how GBTC dies. But yeah, the stupidity of the company having these other ones. But again, it's like Binance, right? It's the shitcoin casino, and they profit from other people's stupidity, not as long as they don't project that stupidity onto themselves, basically. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Like Binance prints money by having a shitcoin casino. But by having a shitcoin casino, the people behind Binance aren't the most ethical people. So because they're not the most ethical people, they may want to take advantage of their underlying and do something shady with it because they're not the most ethical people. But they don't need to do that. So then that's the part we don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
so when you say do something shady with it, sorry, mechanic, Tone. So when you say do something shady with it, do you think they're levering their own stuff in some sense to like, earn yield and do all that sort of stuff?
Well, right. That's what we don't know, right? Like we know that GBTC is backed by 650,000 Bitcoin. But is that Bitcoin just sitting in cold storage, or was that Bitcoin used to generate a yield? And that's the part I don't know. If that Bitcoin was used to generate a yield, how was it done? Because the higher that yield, the more risk that giant chunk takes on, right? So we don't know. This is the same thing with the Tether situation. With the Tether situation, everyone thought that they would have, $100 billion or whatever sitting in cash at some bank. And then we all find out, well, it's not actually cash, it's cash equivalents, which is, a short-term debt, government debt, commercial paper, all this stuff. But legally, the US government classifies that paper as equivalent to actual cash. But how safe is that paper? We don't know. So did Tether put themselves at a bigger risk by putting that money in paper, but then again, keeping 10, $20 billion at some bank where whoever runs that bank could simply fail and mandate a bail-in is also risk, right? Like commercial paper could actually potentially be less risky than keeping that chunk of money at a bank, because when you have that kind of chunk of money at a bank, someone could confiscate that money. It's a lot harder to confiscate commercial paper because it's
totally.
Right. So, I mean, there are different risks, and diversifying these risks, I believe, is not a bad idea. So to me, what Tether did, as long as they didn't put all of their eggs in one basket, as long as they distributed that underlying backing through the safest cash equivalents possible, I think that was smart, not stupid. But a lot of people said that was bad.
No, you hit the nail on the head with Tether, man. All the Tether fudsters are morons. Like, if you're holding that much money and you're under regulatory fire all the time, you'd be a moron to keep the money in one place, particularly in the legacy financial system. Like, they've got shell companies upon bank accounts, upon note structures. Like, they've got the money spread out in so many different ways that it's too hard to basically confiscate. It's a whack-a-mole.
And also, no one wants to bank them, right? So that's how they ended up with a shit ton of money in a shady bank and lost a bunch of that money. So they said, screw this. If there's nowhere we can actually keep the money safe, we might as well invest it in commercial paper.
Man, I'm scrolling down CoinMarketCap right now, and then just like two sentiments. The first is, yes, this is the Bitcoin's most depressing bear market ever, because the shitcoins aren't anywhere near as wrecked as they fucking should be. Like, Ethereum is still
one reason. Yeah, I got others.
It's $1,200 for an Ethereum. Like, the network isn't worth $1,200, let alone one of the tokens on it. like Dogecoin is still at 5 cents. What is it doing there? There's 132 million of these things. How can one of them
BSV $40?
Well, Bcash breaks new all-time lows every day.
Yeah,
but BSV is going to go sub $10. That's going to be hilarious, man. It's got $8 to buy one of the tokens on this.
Is Luna still trading?
Yep.
The dollar version. I mean, this thing kind of, that's the dollar version. Luna is down to $2.
Imagine being one of those idiots still trading that. Congratulations.
I want to see if Bcash broke like 0.4% or wherever it's at. Like, this is, what was the low today? Low was 0.00534. Like, at some point your mining fails, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't. The whole of mining in the Bcash ecosystem smoke and mirrors anyway, because it's a centralized thing, which means mining is just it's a total. I mean, it is in any shitcoin really, but in Bcash it's doubly so. Like, if anything happened that where you would allegedly get the benefit of having a decentralized network of miners and proof of work and all that stuff that was actually controversial to the people in charge of it, they would just reverse the transaction because they hard fork, like, as a matter of routine anyway. So there's no security comes from mining in B. People keep talking about Bcash being 51% attacked, and I'm like, the whole project is a 100% attack by design. So you're giving it way too much credit by even thinking a 51% attack is a valid thing to worry about in Bcash. The whole thing is centrally controlled. Like, Jimmy Song's made this point a few times as well. Like, you're accidentally giving it too much credit with thinking it's running any risk. It's centralized, which comes with a lot of advantages. But the fact that they pretend to be decentralized is how you know the whole thing is a total scam.
Well, right. Well, this is also why I always said that Bcash is a bigger scam than BSV, because at least BSV is completely honest about how centralized they are.
Yeah, they don't pretend that being decentralized is necessary. They don't. Like, I've spoken with BSV cult members before, and they're like, "Show me in the white paper where it says decentralized." You know,
right? Well, like they were never. They're always like, "No, we should have 20 gigabyte blocks, and only 3 people should have a node." Like they're very open about this. Well,
yeah.
Like they were very honest about how centralized Bitcoin should be, which is why I respected them a smidge more than BCH, because they were pretending they were decentralized.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird project, though. They don't lie about that, but the other things they tell lies about.
Right. But they don't lie that it's centralized.
Yeah, it's weird stuff going on there. Like, but yeah, you're right. They don't lie about that. But look, Bcash is not down as much as Bitcoin percentage-wise today. Like, that's not accept. It's 15% down. Bitcoin is 17% down. Like, that's not the end. It can't be the end.
I know, but it also fell a lot more over the last few days.
Yeah,
right?
I think we're in like a miniature bounce at the moment.
Yeah. It fell a lot more. I mean, it hit its all-time low this morning. Like it's up right now, right? But it hit an all-time low this morning.
Beautiful.
So is Litecoin, by the way. Litecoin just hit another all-time low.
Tone, I love how you've got like things like XLM and Neo in your thing. This just, it's like, is this like your 2017 shitcoin thing?
What's XLM?
I can't remember.
Stellar.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. I need all of McCaleb's scams in here.
And you got Neo. That's hilarious. Wasn't that supposed to be like the Chinese Ethereum or something?
Yeah.
I thought that was internet computer.
I mean, that's the only thing we can laugh about right now in this environment, right? Is like the shitcoins. Yeah, Litecoin hit its all-time low against Bitcoin, which is actually impressive because there were times when Litecoin did this.
Yeah.
And we still just had an all-time low.
What's up, Jimmy?
Hey guys,
Hey,
how's
Jimmy
everything going?
Hey, the song.
Wow.
Hey, Jimmy, how'd you like? Did you see that Binance tweet? There were too many transactions in the mempool with a low fee. Therefore, we're holding off on sending you your money.
Yeah, this is totally an engineering fail, and this is the thing. I've observed a lot of these exchanges. When you have some sort of like scaling or engineering problem, it's almost always a prelude to some sort of hack happening. So if you have any coins on Binance, I would take them off. Just
one thing, I'm surprised BlockFi hasn't collapsed yet. We've had every red flag from them, and to me, they were even more dodgy than
shit, I forgot all about BlockFi.
Dude,
it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna happen. The thing is, like, I think Luna and Celsius are like the Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers of 2008 or 2000. Yeah, and there's contagion all over. That's the thing about DeFi that I don't think a lot of people understand. Almost everything is connected to each other. You collapse one thing, it's gonna collapse something else. It's gonna collapse something else, and it'll just like go through the entire space. And, you know, honestly, like Bitcoin's going to be affected because a lot of these guys kept Bitcoin on their treasury. They're going to have to sell them off in order to pay off some of the withdrawals and all this other stuff and their weird pegging mechanisms and stuff like that. This is going to get much worse, I think.
Yeah, it's the contagion is just starting to spread, and you know, and people even becoming aware of how risky the whole space is and how prone it is to collapse. It's going to just mean a lot of people sell and pack up shop anyway, and everything, it adds fuel to the fire. Like when Adam Back was tweeting about a record amount of longs on Bitfinex, I was like, this is the worst thing I could possibly imagine right now. All these people are going to get liquidated and just cascade the price down.
Yep.
Tone, if so, let's say tomorrow they come out and they say, okay, we're not going to raise rates. We're going to backtrack and the market bounces. Do you think that that optimism bleeds into Bitcoin and the shitcoin space, and then people, you know, get happy again and we kind of move on from here, or not really?
No, not really. No matter what the Fed does this week, the market will probably bounce a little bit. just because it's already sold off. It's already sold off in anticipation of a 75 basis point move, 0.75%. So unless they raise the rate by a full percentage point, that's already factored in. No matter what the Fed does, the market bounces. Would it bounce and continue rising and leave this low intact? Probably not. As I said, at this point, the only way to reverse this market is with some like ridiculously drastic move. And for me, that move is Biden stepping down. That would reverse the market. The problem with Biden stepping down right now is this ridiculous January 6th hearing, which again, I'm not sure why it's happening. I thought this happened a year ago. Jimmy, have you paid attention to this? Like, why is there a January 6th hearing? Didn't this, like, I remember the hearing happening a year ago.
Well, I'm sure it's a political thing because they know they're in trouble in November. They're trying to reverse the momentum a little bit and say, hey, look at all these bad people that did bad things. You're going to elect them.
No one is watching this thing.
The Democrats are. You got to rally your base, Tone. That's the name of the game in politics. So this is the one thing that will get some Democrats to go to the polls. So I think that a huge upheaval, like something is going to happen. I don't think the market's going to keep crashing. They need to do something to stop this bleeding because companies are about to start laying people off left and right. They already are. They already are. I mean, like they've all frozen hiring and stuff like that. It's interesting because like every mom and pop store and retail, they're like dying for workers right now. But you know, you're in a corporate boardroom or whatever, you're gonna get cut because you're not doing anything useful. So the laptop rent seekers go away, and you know, actual workers that do provide a good or service, they're gonna be in demand. You're gonna see a lot of like you know, former, you know, VP of marketing working at Chipotle or something.
Probably.
Literal meme, man.
I have people asking about the SPY. SPY is like the S&P 500. I like to look at it in the futures market. You just have more consistency, less gaps. Bitcoin is correlated with the market. The sooner the market reverses, the sooner Bitcoin does as well. But it will eventually decouple. I believe Bitcoin will decouple, and this summer is going to be huge because I think there'll be a conclusion to the Russia-Ukraine situation. I know everyone's saying there's not going to be. America wants to be in this war for 20 years. Russia is not interested in being in there for 20 years. So this thing is going to end probably this summer, at worst this year. It's going to end. And when that ends, the ramifications of that are going to be huge because of what people have been led to believe.
When you say the ramifications are huge, what, in a positive sense, like kumbaya, we're all happy again, or do you mean?
No, it could be the other way around. That's what I was saying earlier.
They're gonna go like invade Poland or something, and then it's gonna be like much bigger. I don't know.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, I don't think Russia is going to invade Poland, but people in Europe have been led to believe that Russia is going to invade, Paris and Spain.
Yeah.
And if they realize that Russia has won, and they have this fear that now they're going to invade everything, up through Iceland, they may take their money and run, and that money is going to be sent to the U.S. markets.
Is there no economics that can get us out of the mess? Like, if America's really fallen apart and Russia is doing well, can't the European Union just sort of make some actual deals and go, hey, what about if we start being a bit friendly with one another?
No, they can't. They can't, because the European Union doesn't have actual elections, so they're not beholden to any people. They're just pre-selected by the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. So they're not doing anything. Like, no one's gonna like my answer to this. But the best way out of it is for a peaceful split of the U.S. South from the North. The South removes all of these ridiculous policies, including sanctions on other countries, and starts doing economic business. And then with countries, including Russia, including Iran, including everything, remove all these sanctions, including Cuba and Venezuela. Let the north of the United States keep all these sanctions and leave more. Remove the sanctions, And that half of the country, hopefully that half of the country will retain the nukes. And at the least, it'll retain all the handguns. The north side of the country can disarm their population if they like. That's fine.
They can join Canada.
Yeah, they can merge with Canada.
They can join
right?
Canada.
Yeah, they can join Canada.
It's going to be like Southeast. You're going to have South Korea, which is South America, North Korea, which is North America, and that's just going to include Canada, which is pretty much China anyway. Like Chinese own all the real estate in Canada anyway. They've got like 80,000 troops here as well on some weird, like, we want to train our troops to deal with cold initiative that Trudeau was okayed. And by the way, I just saw the news report. Trudeau's got COVID again, apparently. So this is what, like the 7th time he's caught it now. I think someone must have honked a few blocks away and he's got scared and decided to pretend he's got COVID again.
No, but it will be interesting, right? Let's see what happens. Let America split peacefully between Democrats and Republicans. Let a few, I will be all in support of printing money to help all the Democrats move out of the South into the North. And that's like the only time I will approve of money printing.
See, Tone, I don't know if this will work though, because if you look at like just the demographics of everything, like most Democrats congregate in cities. Almost all rural parts are very Republican. So unless you like have like little mini city states all over the place, I don't know how you really split it. Other than maybe California, but even there are large tracts of California that are very conservative. It's just places
most
like
of California's
San Francisco.
Conservative. Yeah, it's SF and LA. That's the problem. Yeah.
No, Jimmy, I'm with you. I mean, this is half joking. This is obviously not going to happen, right? But like in theory, it's you let the popular vote decide, and if the popular vote decides that your state is going to remove all liberal, values, and you're living in one of these cities, and you're a liberal. We'll give you, a few $1,000 check and go move into one of these abandoned houses in Detroit or something. I don't know.
All right. So here's some statistics for you. Out of like the top 30 cities in the like most populous cities in the U.S., 29 of them have Democratic mayors. Okay, like this is this is everywhere.
I know, but if you've watched the election, 2000 Mules, it's very likely half of these mayors, they didn't win the election, honestly.
Have you been to a city, Tone? Like they're all Democrats in most of these cities. Like you go to even places like Salt Lake City.
I know. I've been to Houston.
Democrat.
I know. It's not good.
I like that. That's just even a lot of suburbs, especially rich suburbs of the United States. It's something that like not a lot of people realize, but most rich suburbs are very Democrat heavy. It used to be that rich suburbs were more Republican, but that was like 30 years ago. The last 30 years, they've all turned Democrat. Like the Democratic Party is more or less the party of the rich at this point. People just don't realize it. And they, like Republicans have, they're representing like, lower class people and stuff like that. It's all this demographic shifting that people really haven't paid attention to. This is why like Nancy Pelosi makes so much money, like doing stock trading. It's right. Because she represents a lot of these very rich people from San Francisco and so on. So I don't know, like any sort of split like that, I don't think is really going to happen. But Tone, let's change the topic for a second.
Sure.
Can you pull up the FUSD chart? Because it's interesting to me.
What chart?
Ethereum USD.
Oh, Ethereum. Okay.
FUSD. Oh, so that's a good name for ticker.
Yeah, there you go. And like go to yeah. So what's interesting to me, all right, so this is the 1 week on Bitfinex, right?
Oh, one second.
You're gonna need to zoom out a little bit. Go make sure you cover 2017, because this it's now dipped below the previous high. Does that mean? Yeah, in dollars. Does that mean that it's gonna dip further, or I mean, is this bottom? Because at least on Bitcoin, when you talk about that sort of thing, it tends to bounce off of these lines.
So in dollars, the fall is probably over, unless Ethereum has structural problems. That's going to take it further down. So there is a bit of a buffer zone here, but in dollars, if this thing, starts falling below like 750, it might be totally screwed.
Okay. So so it'd have to fall below 750 for it to really, like, this is resistance right here because of the previous
it's support.
high.
Yeah, you have good dollar support here. Ethereum has fallen quite a bit. See, versus Bitcoin, I think it's done. So versus Bitcoin, where am I?
This is the weekly, yeah.
I know, but I had
some arrows and stuff like that. It might be the wrong one. You might need something other than Poloniex or something.
No. But like I didn't change the. You know what? I might have changed the ticker. Hold on.
Okay.
ETH.
ETH. Sorry.
Man,
well, no, that's Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to bring up as well, but I'm going to wait till you finish this one discussion first. Ethereum Classic specifically.
Hold on, let me find the right one.
I don't think it's going to be
Binance. But this is a saved chart. Like anyway, I don't know where my like pictures are, but it doesn't matter. Like it's irrelevant. So in terms of versus Bitcoin, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it's screwed. Now this is, I mean, ideally, well, actually, no, I take that back. Ethereum is going to be totally done when versus Bitcoin, it goes significantly lower. It still has some room. I mean, it's even somewhat holding this trend line. Like Ethereum versus Bitcoin is still in a decent survival zone, but this is a big area. If it goes any further, then Ethereum probably ain't coming back.
To get Ethereum down to 750, I think would take Bitcoin nuking to about 16 or 17K pessimistically. So yeah, I'm up for that. You guys in?
I'm in.
Yeah,
well, it's not just that. It's because Bitcoin could like bounce off here. That's the thing. Like Bitcoin rallies stronger, but the shitcoins don't come along with it because people are too, mentally scarred about the systemic risks. That's why we probably need a official implosion of Celsius. Like, as far as I understand, Celsius hasn't officially imploded. It's just a case of they've paused withdrawals. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's they crashed after they announced that. So I don't know. I don't even actually care that much, but I do feel like it has all the markings of like, okay, that was Bear Stearns. This is Lehman Brothers. They've replicated the entire Wall Street contagion kind of weirdness from 2008.
Yeah, they've tied each other all together. They're all in bloody knots and loops. Yeah. So I guess my feeling is that if that happens, there is a possibility that you've got the shit coins just don't recover. Bitcoin moves off, and then kind of, as Tone said, like the price remains whatever it is in dollar terms, but the ETH BTC price just continues to tumble, and that's fine by me. I don't mind.
Yeah, because look, the first stage is people get out of these scams and into Ethereum. So Ethereum is probably going to be benefiting over the next few months of shitcoin exodus into Ethereum, just as much as shitcoin exodus into Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin can get stuck here.
I feel like these people stay in the shitcoins all the way to zero. I like, even when I shitcoined a little bit in sort of 2016, 2017, the random shitcoins that I had littered through my wallets, I never exited that shit. That just stayed in there and just, all basically went to zero. Do you think people actually exit shitcoins actively and go to Ethereum?
It's the smart money that does. The large money always exits. It's the poor suckers that like actually believe in this stuff and believe the marketing that get screwed that way.
But those guys would have exited months ago, not now. Like,
I mean, the thing is, if you staked it, you can't. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, okay.
If you staked it, you have to wait until it comes out of the stake, then you sell. That I mean, and there's so much of that in DeFi. It's kind of crazy, where you're locked off for like another 3 months before you can get out. So we'll see.
Yep, that's the name of the game in the shitcoin land. It's the main focus is always on getting people to lock funds away, because you can always convince them to keep them locked away again for a secondary round if they keep making money. It's like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street. It's like they're getting rich on paper. We're walking away with cold hard cash, motherfucker. It's like that. Like I've met people in the wild before. They're like, I started with 9K, now it's at 80K. And I'm like, how do you access that 80K? And there's never a straight answer. It's never like, yeah, just sell it. I'm like, with Bitcoin, you can sell $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in 10 minutes if you need to. Like, you can't do that with any of these things, and that's by design. Like, so Vitalik getting people to lock up Ethereum is one of many methods he has to make sure the price doesn't tank too far. Let's talk about Ethereum Classic.
Hey, apparently Binance has started withdrawals of Bitcoin again. So we'll see how that goes. We got another comment. Anyone concerned that Bitcoin falling below its previous all-time high, maybe far below, will kill it as people no longer see it as a long-term store of value? No, I do not. I don't think anyone on this stream does either.
No, it's another model that was going to fail eventually, just like stock to flow or something. The idea that we can never fall below a previous all-time high, it's just a model that was going to break eventually, and that's what we're going to do.
It's already broken.
I think it broke in
2015 or whatever.
Yeah, those are 2017 dollars. $20,000 at 2017 prices is not even. It's way more than $23,000, which we're at right now in 2022 dollars. We've already, like, for purchase.
What are you talking about, man? Inflation's 2%.
Oh yeah, good point. No, it's 8.6. They've admitted, even though every single possible thing you could possibly buy has gone up more than 8.6%. Somehow, they've done some moon math and figured out that inflation's only 8.6%. I don't know how they managed it. Like, how do you actually cook the books to that extent where you pretend that inflation is 8.6?
You just don't measure all the things that are necessary. You just measure TVs.
Is that it? Just TVs and laptops or something? Because I'm pretty sure those have all gone up too. Like, nothing's cheaper. Like, when petrol goes up 130%, nothing escapes that, I'd say.
Have we seen the same gas price increases? Because I've still got some family obviously in Australia, and the gas prices don't seem to have moved the same amount over there, at least. Like, I know in Texas, when I first arrived in January. Are you guys allowed to drive over there? Well, maybe that's why.
There's not as much demand for petrol. That's what it is.
They just hop on a kangaroo's back.
All right.
All they got to do over there. Dude,
you
asked me about petrol? Let me tell you, petrol was at the sort of, the bit where the oil futures went down to minus 35, and it was literally it cost 88 cents a liter where I live for petrol then. It's now $2.30 a liter. So, I mean,
so
I'm cherry picking the low.
Increase.
I'm cherry picking the low, but even after that very low point, it was always about $1.10 or $1.05 or something like that. So it's way more than double. So,
Yeah, see, Australia normalized at about $1.30, $1.40. Like, we had the $2 spike years back, kind of normalized dollar, but it's only up at about, the $1.90, $2 mark. Like, I think, in fact, it probably normalized at $1.50. So it's probably, 30-40% up. But in Texas, like, it's 100% up. Like, it was $2.69 when I first got here. It's $5 now.
It was $1.50 like during 2020. So
that's
wow.
Gallon?
Holy shit, man.
That's a gallon.
$1.50 or less, like $1.30 maybe even.
A gallon. Yeah, it was super cheap. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I remember when I first got here, I was like, man, this is cheap as shit. $2.69, But Yeah, clearly it was even.
Yeah,
even
someone
more.
in the
Jesus.
live chat just said it's $2 a gallon in Russia. Well, I don't know how true that is. Actually, I have no idea what the price per liter is in Russia.
Wait. USD per ruble. So, wow. It's
Oh, you didn't know that?
Well, I didn't realize it was this much. That's a huge swing.
The ruble is stronger than at any point in the last 5 years.
Wow.
The last time the ruble was this strong, it was 2015.
Wow.
Holy moly.
This is just, before Ukraine's final successful battle, and when they finally defeat Russia, I'm sure.
Though I have to say, like your currency getting ridiculously strong is not great for your economy. But yeah,
I mean, they don't have tourism anyway. It doesn't matter. It's not like they have any incoming tourism anyway. Everything's blocked out. Like,
they don't have exports either. It's all imports. So it's.
Yeah, I think it's fine, and plus, it's not the worst problem. They can just devalue it if they want. Like, it's better to be in this situation than the other, presumably.
Sure.
Fucking hell, they're killing it.
Yeah, they're absolutely. Like, I had someone that's like, drinking the blue pilled Kool-Aid, all that, and they were like, Putin's doing this because the price of his currency is completely collapsed, and I sent them this chart. Like, you need to stop reading whatever news source it is you're reading. Like,
right?
Wow, the yen's at 134. That's
the
crazy.
yen's been destroyed. Ruble's been the best performing currency this year in the world because from the start of year, like before the war, they're up like 25%.
I'm changing my profile picture to a Russian flag, guys.
Oh, you really don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. You're going to get kicked off, man.
You get banned by Twitter.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, when was it last?
Well, I guess rubles was the trade for this year. Fuck Bitcoin. This ruble is the inflation resistant.
I mean, how are you going to get rubles though? Like,
oh, it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
Like it's very hard to get rubles.
BTC-E. Oh, wait, was there a ruble Bitcoin pair on that exchange?
There was.
Yeah, there was.
That was such a great exchange, man. Like,
wow, Turkey. Wow.
Yeah, Turkey's in trouble. And I was just there. It's man, Turkey is falling apart, man. It was can't get an Uber, can't get a taxi because they can't raise their prices, so nobody wants to drive anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like the gas prices are going up,
shame.
But they can't charge you more, so it's almost impossible to get a taxi anywhere.
Price controls, huh?
Yeah, so they have a price control on taxis, but they can't have a price control on the gas. So it's like, yeah, that's a problem.
In the UAE, isn't it like $4 to fill up a Mustang or something?
I mean, I don't know. I never actually filled up, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty cheap in the Middle East. I mean, they do make their own gas.
And like everyone drives a sports car, right? Like if you're a Dubaian citizen, don't you? If you're like an Emirati citizen, you get like a sports car for your 18th birthday, right? Are they still doing that?
I don't know about that, but they do get like good money.
Wow, euro is almost at parity too. Wow.
Yeah, man.
No, the US dollar. The US dollar has been very strong. Like, look, and this actually hurts the United States. The strengthening US dollar, I mean, if we still export stuff, at the least, right?
We don't really.
Well, we export a lot of military equipment.
Well, it's mostly phones and stuff like that we do.
But
and they're made in China anyway.
A strong dollar actually hurts the U.S. economy, and the dollar is really strong. So yeah, the euro is going to parity. Man, Japan is screwed.
If the dollar has been that strong, that just intensifies how strong the ruble has actually been against everything else.
Yeah.
Because the ruble is like mopped the floor with the second strongest. That's crazy, man.
Well, it's hard to convert any of it though. That's I suspect some of it is at least like a liquidity issue. Like if you have like $100 billion in rubles, can you really convert it over to dollars easily?
Yeah, I wonder what the street price is like, for Russian rebels or whatever that want to have US dollars or whatever. I think they'll be paying a much higher rate than what you see on TradingView.
Yeah, it was that way. I mean, the problems in Russia is not like the currency conversion. The problems in Russia is using MasterCard and Visa systems. So that because there were so many companies, right? They would like ship stuff, like you can pay for your stuff. So the problem isn't the currency. The problem is the SWIFT sanctions are hurting the Russian people big time. But hopefully they resolve those issues because it's not the people's fault, and people will be able to use a financial system. But what the U.S. has done with these SWIFT sanctions is proof to the world that it's a centralized system and they can kick anybody off. We knew that, but they've actually put it in practice. So I think this is a huge nail in the United States economy destroying itself. And that's why I'm saying if there is a way to fix this, the conservative side of the United States needs to somehow separate from the liberal side of the United States and let the conservative side drop all these ridiculous sanctions and medical mandates, and then see which side does better over the next 3 to 5 years, because it's a no-brainer to me which side's going to outperform.
Tone for governor.
Yeah.
Someone just DM me
I
Tone
believe in
president as well. Look, I think it's a minority. These sort of, rural types that, red-blooded Americans and all that. I think I agree with Jimmy, man. Like most people are just Democrats by sort of, because it's like, the same people that want to, mask up and take the vaccine because it's a responsible thing to do, even though there's no science behind it whatsoever. Like they're the sort of illogical idiots that will vote Democrat, and they make up the majority of Americans. I really do think that. Like I'm thinking less, and I'm starting to believe more and more that the elections might have been legitimate. Like people actually would vote for Joe Biden. Like they would.
No. You gotta watch that documentary 2000 Mules if you haven't. I know I need to watch What Is a Woman documentary, but you really gotta watch 2000 Mules.
Send me it. I'll watch it before I take it down.
But it's free all over the place. 2000 Mules.
All right, I'll watch it.
Has MicroStrategy recovered a bit, or is it still getting slammed?
No, we're recovering a little, but also because the stock market's recovering a little. So you can see the wick there, you can see the wick here. So we are pulling back up a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin's pulling up too. But I mean, not really.
So where do you think it pulls up to, Tone?
I think it can go back to like 25. But I can't say this is over. It's all going to be about the stock market. The Fed is going to take over everything. I will say there is a Fed rate call this week, right? I'm not trying to Google
Didn't you say it was the 14th? I thought you said it was the 14th.
I thought I said that also, but I'm like Googling it and they're still talking about all this May stuff. Like I Google Fed rate hike expectations and I'm getting articles from May 2nd. Like, okay, what about the upcoming one?
Jimmy, do you think Celsius is dead? Just quickly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
anytime you suspend convertibility, that's not a good sign. And they're in a lot of trouble. They're probably looking for financing and getting another sucker to bail them out or something. But I can't see them like surviving this because I mean they're already in trouble. It's early in this cycle of like broken dreams. So I mean, like you really think you're gonna like survive the cascade that's about to happen? I don't know. And I know they put a lot into the STF thing, and that peg is breaking. There's a whole bunch of weird contagion here.
Tone, to answer your question, FOMC meeting 14th, 15th, so tomorrow and day after.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yeah, so here, the expectation, it's amazing. People in the audience is like, Tone doesn't know what he's talking about. They're expecting 7.75%. Right here, article from today. The expectation is 75.
Burn it to the ground, boys.
Show a 30% chance of a 75. So they're expecting what, 0.5? They're expecting 1. what do they expect? Like these things used to be so easy to Google for. Rising expectations that Federal Reserve will raise benchmark interest rates by 75 basis points. Reuters, there you go. Okay, so the expectation is 75 basis points. I am taking the under. I'm gonna say 0.5, but I would give it a higher probability that it's gonna be 0.25 over that it would be 0.75. I think they're gonna raise it less. I am taking the under, and the stock market will rally on this news. But I don't believe that that the crash in the stock market is over, and therefore there is still a high probability of a lower Bitcoin low. But we really do need to get this sooner than later because this kind of sucks. Again, guys, Financial Summit, Dominican Republic, come down and we can all, have unlimited alcohol so we can drink away our sorrows together while talking about the markets.
Maybe some of them are short. You don't know.
Oh, no. Some people that signed up have been short. They're very happy about this.
Oh, right. There you go.
So you may want to find out why they were short and why they did so well. So they're also going to be there. I'll tell them not to gloat too much. There's nothing wrong with going short.
Man, I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, the last time I put a short on Bitcoin was in 2018. It's been a number of years. It was just too stressful. I got fucking mauled on BitMEX, like in one of those like bounces. It just fucking wiped it out. And I vowed never again. I don't care how smart I think I am.
Trading is not the way, man. I know this is a trading channel, but I just
Don's gonna fucking boot you off.
There's nothing like just buying, holding, no leverage, cold storage. There's honestly nothing like it. Like even if you could legitimately make a bunch of money trading, you still have to dedicate time and stress and all that to doing it. And it's just I'd rather think about other stuff. Like I'd rather have my hodl and then just and this is the thing. You're like, people are like, oh, I only trade with 2% of my stash. And I'm like, that's fine until you're going to get margin called and then you have to keep reinforcing it. Like then it becomes 10% of your stash. Then it becomes 20% of your stash. And that's the bottom and you get wiped out there. And then it's like, fuck it. I'm literally learning this lesson as we speak, guys. So don't fucking do it. Or just don't do it with a tiny percentage of your stash and with no leverage and on a completely trustworthy platform. And then it becomes a waste of time because you're still basically 50-50 with your emotions sending you in the wrong direction every time.
Oh, guys, shoot. Speaking of Russia, I just realized I gotta be on a YouTube channel in Russian, though I believe it's Ukrainians that run that channel, so I don't get too much hate mail. But I gotta jump on a podcast in about 10 minutes. It's 12:40 Eastern. It's 12:24. I just realized it. So those of you that speak and understand Russian can catch me on the Forklog YouTube channel. If you go Forklog, that's going to be the channel I will be on talking about the price of Bitcoin and the world of Bitcoin in Russian, though it could have subtitles. I'm not sure. You can also watch it later. I'll have to retweet it. So we are going to have to close out this stream. Thanks for hanging out with us. We had over 1,000 viewers most of the time. Always happens whenever Bitcoin crashes. I do believe this is...
Everyone's coming for hopium.
Yeah. They don't get much from me. Look, if you're...
Yeah, I know. That's why I love you.
If you're going to be holding Bitcoin for a long period of time, even as long as a year, these are very good levels to start accumulating that hodl position. From a short-term perspective, I am not yet convinced this is over. The volume is just not there. Not enough shitcoiners are crying. Not enough companies have imploded. It feels like there should still be more pain, even though this has been the most frustrating bear market to my memory. And I've been around for the other two. Closing thoughts, guys. We're also waiting on Celsius to fully implode. We'll see what's going on with Binance, BlockFi. This summer is going to be interesting.
Let's plug.
Oh, yeah. Do your plugs, guys. Jimmy, let's go first. I'll pull up your website.
Programmingbitcoin.com. All right. So Well, yeah. So I don't have that seminar happening. Well, that's in the past. I really need to update my website. The one seminar I do have is in El Salvador. That's happening July 18th and 19th. And we're mostly looking for scholarship recipients. So if you're in El Salvador, please apply for the scholarship, which I'll put up on the website. I have a few books: Programming Bitcoin, published with O'Reilly, the Little Bitcoin book, Thank God for Bitcoin, Bitcoin and the American Dream. They're all available on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be in Chattanooga next Monday for their initial Bitcoin meetup. And you can find out more at chattbitcoin.com. And that is the Chattanooga Bitcoin meetup. And I'll be there speaking a week from now.
All right, very cool. Svetsky, what are you up to these days? You have your book.
Yeah, uncommunist.com. So Mark and I did a successful Kickstarter on it. We're still just wrapping up some final edits and stuff like that before it goes on. If you just go uncommunist.com, I think people will see it. The Twitter.
I was going to go to the uncommunist Twitter handle. They can find
it. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have it on Amazon hopefully in about a month. So Mark and I are just like getting some stuff sorted out beforehand. That meme that you've got in the right corner there, I fucking love that one.
When I was walking around, I'm walking around in Miami with this book because I went to your dinner, and it's late, there's no lights. I'm looking at my book. It really when it's dark out, the gets blended with the black, and it looks like I'm walking around Miami with the communist now.
You'll probably be complimented on that or something.
Nah, Miami's a bit red, man. There was like 80 people out of the dinner walking around with a book that looked like the Communist Manifesto.
You'll be Elon Musk's next girlfriend, mate.
Oh man, yeah. So anyway, that's the main thing, and then also the Bitcoin Times is a publication I work on once a year. Jimmy was in edition 3 a couple of years ago, wrote a magnificent piece. And this year it's going to be the Austrian edition. So Pierre is writing. I finally convinced Goldstein to write another piece. He's come out of hibernation. Who else is in there? Tour de Meester is in there. Conrad Graf. I think Parker Lewis is going to do the.
You convinced Conrad to do something because yeah. Finally redeem himself from the Bitcoin Cash stuff, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of, I think he went down the rabbit hole really quickly, but he kind of reneged on it really quickly. So he's gonna.
I wouldn't say it was really quick. I didn't see a mea culpa until 2020 or so. So.
Yikes.
Okay, interesting. I didn't realize it took that long. Well, anywho, so I'm doing that, and then obviously the Wake Up podcast for anyone who's interested in discussions more broad than just Bitcoin.
All right, awesome. And finally, Mechanic, I'm going to go through my affiliate page, tonebase.com affiliates. We are supporters of Swan. Also, LVL, haven't mentioned that in a while. Jimmy, you still an advisor over there?
I am. And they're like going in a direction that I really like. They're going to be like the Bitcoin. They'll take care of all of the fiat stuff, and you can live on a Bitcoin standard.
Oh, awesome. And Start9, go ahead, plug Mechanic.
Yeah, I got bogged down talking about it earlier because of dickhead JW. Start9's going great. We've got this Embassy Pro, the pre-sale coming out now. This is an Intel NUC with the Intel management engine ripped out of it. So it's hardware you can actually own. It's not backdoored. It's made by Purism. Purism are our partners now. They do the hardware for what we sell. It's an absolute. If anyone doesn't know, they made the first Linux phone. They're an incredible company, and they're actually the real deal when it comes to making hardware you can actually own. and doesn't, do all the things you wish it wouldn't do. Their Linux phones are awesome. The Librem 5, they're called. The Librem 14 is their laptop. And this is, I can't remember what they call the Intel NUC, but this is what is inside the Embassy Pro. It's just an Intel NUC. It's 32 gig of RAM, 4.9 gigahertz processor. It's an incredibly powerful server. So this thing's dope. Can't wait to bring it out. It's taking pre-orders still, $42 for a pre-order.
Pre-order is a way better word than a pre-sale. Please change that on your website.
Okay.
Because a pre-sale, you know what a pre-sale sounds like, right?
You should call it a pre-mine.
Yes, 70% of it will be kept by us, and Vitalik will control the operating system remotely at all times. Good point. I hadn't fucking thought of that. Pre-order. Okay.
Yes,
so,
pre-order.
If you want to find me, I'm at Grassfed Bitcoin or Bitcoin Mechanic on YouTube. If you search one word, I'm still not at 1,000 subs, but I never make videos at the moment, so fair enough. But I promise I will soon. At 1,000 subs, I can be more adventurous with the content, and I'm going to be embarking on a Citadel building project pretty soon. So I'm going to start documenting what I'm doing there. I know everyone loves those survival channels where it shows you how to light a fire using 2 leaves or whatever, like building a hut, building a fire pit, building, solar panels. Well, not building solar panels, but at least making a solar system to power your house. All that stuff. Going to be mining off grid, pumping water from cenotes in Mexico. Got a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a lot of learning for me, but I'm definitely going to share it. So the channel might transition to a bit of a survival channel, but obviously Bitcoin is where it remains. I promise to not look like Ted Krasinski if I can avoid it, though those last videos there, I was going down a bit of a bad path, but
yeah. Hey guys, subscribe to Mechanic. He's so close to 1,000 subs. 1,000 subs is really important because it makes harder for YouTube to shut down the channel. And Mechanic, add your YouTube link to your Twitter profile, please.
Yeah, I need to. Oh, good advice. I will do that.
Right.
Thanks, man.
Guys, we can get him to 1,000. It's a lot easier than getting the Financial Summit YouTube channel to 1,000, but we'll get there as well.
No, that's already 1,000, isn't it? Oh, no, it's unconfiscatable. It's 1,000.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll do it. We'll get there.
All right, gentlemen. Tone, thanks for having us on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. And all right. Well, hopefully this is the bottom. I am seeing minor signs of a reversal here. We will see. I'm not, rushing into this yet for the reasons that I've mentioned, but it is possible. And I'll talk maybe about it more tonight. I'll probably try to do another stream tonight. If not, definitely tomorrow morning. All right. I got to run. Catch me on 4 o'clock in 5 minutes. All right. Those that speak Russian. Bye, guys.
Adios, amigos.
See you, man.
Later.